Yo, what's up, guys? It's King Sean here, and the Commanders' first preseason game just wrapped up with the Jets. They lost 20 to 17, but the score does not matter at all. What matters is what we can take away from this preseason game, the positives and negatives, and there were a lot of positives from this preseason game. Starting off, Jayden Daniels. He was amazing in this lone drive he played in this game. He was 2 for 3, 45 passing yards, including the deep bomb to De'Ami Brown. It was a beautiful pass. It went for like 42 yards, I'm pretty sure. And he had a 3-yard pass to Terry McLaurin. And then in the red zone, he had a rushing touchdown for 3 yards. It was a really nice play design from Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury early on, he actually had some really nice play designs throughout the whole game, really. But it's gonna be very vanilla. But I did like some of his play calls. So Jayden Daniels, he looked really good. On the opening drive, Brian Robinson also had a couple nice carries as well. He had a total of 5 carries for 20 yards, and then Austin Eckler, he had 2 for 7 yards. He also had this one carry that was a first down in the red zone, so which was really nice as well. So I'm excited to see. And actually, Austin Eckler, I'm pretty sure he got 6 snaps or 5 or 6 snaps on the first drive, and then Brian Robinson, he got like 5 snaps. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how they utilize both backs in the offense. But back to Jayden Daniels, man, that lone drive was amazing. That's all I needed to see from him. Honestly, actually, I was gonna say that maybe we don't need to see anything else from him, but he can play next week against the Dolphins. I think they'll give him like a quarter because they only gave him one drive, and he showed out on that one drive, so they felt like they didn't need to give him another drive or another drive or two. So maybe they plan for a quarter next week, maybe a half. We shall see. But overall, Jayden Daniels, he had a really good game today. And the offensive line actually did a solid job protecting him as well. Chris Paul, he surprised me. I'm not going to lie. He did a pretty good job at right tackle. Trent Scott, he didn't give up anything as well. The O-line, they held their own today. I'm not going to lie. They did, because I was very concerned coming in because, Cornelius Lucas, Andrew Wiley, Brandon Coleman, all did not play. And by the way, Brandon Coleman, he does have a shoulder injury. And then Dan Quinn, he said in his press conference that it's a day-to-day, week-to-week thing, but he expects Brandon Coleman to be back soon. But I don't think, they'll give him any preseason snaps, which does suck. That does kind of hurt his development a little bit because those preseason snaps are very valuable. But, hopefully he'll be back soon and maybe he can, get some preseason snaps. But we shall see. But back to Jayden Daniels one last time. Overall, he was really good today. The receivers were good. Ben Sinnott, he showed out today. He had that long catch for 44 yards. It was a nice catch and run from Jeff Driscoll to Ben Sinnott, obviously. So I'm super excited to see what Ben Sinnott does this season. He had a total of 3 catches for 57 yards in this game, so that's really good right there. De'Ami Brown, he had 2 catches for 55 yards. So, hey, man, if De'Ami Brown keeps performing like this, he could end up being our wide receiver 3. So I really like the pass he hauled in from Jayden Daniels deep downfield, obviously, as I mentioned. And then he had another one he hauled in from Jeff Driscoll later on in the game. So overall, De'Ami Brown, he had a pretty solid game. Luke McCaffrey, he had 2 catches for 25 yards. He didn't come in until, I think the third quarter. So maybe he comes in sooner, maybe next week and against the Patriots in our last preseason game. Let's see what else we have here. Bryson Tremaine, he had a catch for 16 yards. He actually dropped one pass. I'm pretty sure it was towards the outside, towards the sideline. It was from Sam Hartman. It was a pretty good throw from Sam Hartman, but Bryson Tremaine just couldn't haul it in. But Bryson Tremaine, he's had a good training camp so far. So if he makes a couple nice catches or if he impresses in preseason, then he could definitely end up making this roster. I would like to go back to the running backs real quick here because I want to talk about Michael Wiley. He had a really good day. He had 8 carries, 34 yards, and a touchdown, his longest carry being 15 yards. He showed some nice explosiveness in some of his runs. I honestly didn't think he had that much speed to his run. So, hey, man, shout out to Michael Wiley. He could make I believe he looked the best out of any of our running backs today. Maybe you could say besides B-Rob, because B-Rob, he does what he does. I mean, B-Rob, he is really good at running, picking up some more yards after the contact. So B-Rob's just going to do what B-Rob does. But Michael Wiley, he looked very impressive today. I thought he looked better than Chris Rodriguez. Chris Rodriguez had a total of 6 carries for no yards. I mean, it seemed like when we ran the ball with him, it just went nowhere. So I feel like Michael Wiley looked better than him today and better than Jeremy McNichols. McNichols had some nice plays early on, but I feel like overall Michael Wiley had a better game than him. So Michael Wiley, he could end up getting that running back 3 spot, but we shall see. And then back to Ben Sinnott real quick. He had a nice block on a Jeff Driscoll run earlier in the game. Jeff Driscoll, I think he had like a 13, 14, 15-yard run, and then Ben Sinnott is really the one who had the nice block that allowed Jeff Driscoll to get more yards on that run. So shout out to Ben Sinnott, man. His blocking and receiving ability combined makes him the tight end he is. He has high upside, and I'm super excited to see what he does this season. Back to the receivers, though. Let's see what else we have here. Marcus Rosemy-Jackson, he had a catch for 9 yards. Austin Jones, a catch for 9 yards. Jahan Dotson, he had 2 catches for, 13 yards. And the thing about Jahan was he was playing with a second teamer, so that's really interesting right there. But I guess that makes sense. They want to see, Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, is the only wide receiver that deserves to, to sit out. Jahan Dotson, he needs to show more. He was really good in his rookie season, showed a lot of promise, but this past season, wasn't really good, and not all of it is on him, but a lot of it is on him. So, they want to see what Jahan Dotson can do in preseason. I feel like Jahan Dotson, he will have a bounce back season, but, they just want to give him more snaps, more reps in the preseason games, which I don't really mind at all. Moving on to the defense, our defensive starters were actually pretty good today. Now, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Dante Fowler did not play today. They're just getting rested. Obviously, they don't really need to play in the preseason, especially Payne and Allen, so that makes sense. But, hey, man, our defensive starters, like I said, they look really good. Frankie Lavu and Mikey Sanders they made an excellent tackle in the backfield. And, they forced a 3-and-out on the Jets' first drive of the game, so that's really good right there. I'm pretty sure after that drive, they took Luvu out. They took Dorrance Armstrong out, Jeremy Chin, everybody out besides, I think, Benjamin St-Juste, Mikey Sanders, Emmanuel Forbes, Quan Martin. So, yeah, that's really the only drive they needed to see out of our defensive starters because they were really good on that, opening Jets drive. So, hey, man, shout out to the defensive starters. Frankie Lavu, he was flying around on that first drive. Same with Mikey Sanders still. Super excited to see what they have in store for us this year. As for the backups, the guys on the back end of the roster, they didn't really do much today. Tyler Owens, he did have a nice tackle in special teams on a punt, and he also had a nice tackle, I'm pretty sure in the third quarter over the middle of the field as well. So, hey, man, Tyler Owens, he keeps impressing like this. He could find his way onto the roster. We shall see, especially, Derek Forrest not playing today because he is recovering from an injury right now. What's his name? Tyler Owens, he's taking every opportunity he has to go out there and show out and show why he should be making the roster. And if he makes more plays on special teams, hey, man, that might boost his chances to, make the roster. So we shall see. Nothing really else happened. Oh, Jamin Davis, he was playing throughout the entire game, really, including to the end of the game. I mean, he was playing all game long, and at times he looked impressive. Like, I'm pretty sure in the second quarter or first quarter, he had 2 impressive TFLs, which were really good. But I'm pretty sure on this one run play by Braylon Allen to the outside, Jamin Davis, he didn't set the edge very well, and that allowed Braylon Allen to pick up a huge gain on the run to the outside. And he had a couple of not so great plays later in the game as well, and he didn't really get a lot of pressure off the edge, but he is still learning the position, so hopefully he gets better. But he did make some nice plays today, but hopefully Jamin gets better, and I feel like he will. I feel like he's gonna make the roster, so hopefully he shows more and more of how he can kind of be an edge rusher in our next 2 preseason games and throughout the remainder of training camp. Now, secondary, Emmanuel Forbes. I know he made a nice play. He made a nice pass breakup. He had a really good coverage. I think it was against Jarvis Brownlee or some receiver on the Jets. I'm not sure, but he made a nice pass breakup early on in the game. But then I think in the second quarter or later on, he got cooked in the red zone by Jarvis Brownlee. It was a really good place ball by, I'm pretty sure it was Tyrod Taylor that threw the ball. So, I mean, it was a really good place ball, but Emmanuel Forbes, he kind of got cooked out in that red. I'm not going to lie. But it sucks. Emmanuel Forbes, like I said, I want him to be good, but it's really hard because he constantly keeps getting beats. So, he just needs to show me that he can be consistent in coverage and not constantly get beat. So we'll see with Emmanuel Forbes, man. Moving on to the special teams. At returner, Casper Allen, he had a nice return today in kick returns. It went for 32 yards, as well as Byron Pringle. He had a nice 26-yard return. Olamide Zaccheaus, he took some punt returns today. On his first return, he called for a fair catch, which I didn't necessarily agree with because he did kind of have some space to run, but he made up for it on his next return where he went for 19 yards on that return, which is pretty cool. And then Davion Davis, he had 3 punt returns for a total of 18 yards. Now, the kicker situation, man, we need some new kickers ASAP. Riley Patterson, I feel like this game would have ended in a tie, but Riley Patterson, he missed a kick that was a super easy kick to make, to be honest. A 39-yard chip shot kick, in my opinion. That's a kick that all kickers should be able to make. All NFL kickers should be able to make. And the fact that you missed a 39-yarder, I mean, that's bad right there. He did make his lone extra point, but man, the fact that you missed a 39-yard field goal, that's really bad right there. But Ramiz Ahmed, he did make his lone field goal. It went for 40 yards, so he's probably in the kicker. He's in the lead for the kicker competition right now. But man, we need some new kickers ASAP because it's really not looking good right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's not looking good at kicker right now. But that is that for the first preseason game. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm on the road to 4K subs. If you could hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.